Ready to have some fun? Let's do it.
Be honest, I'm a nature freak.
We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents. All kinds of happy little things going on. And if it doesn't make you happy, you're doing the wrong thing.
I did watch that documentary, though, about that whole festival that was going on. That they tried to recreate Woodstock or whatever with all those bands.
Woodstock 99, right?
Sure, Limp Bizkit was there, maybe Korn.
Yeah.
They just had like tons and tons of bands for like a whole weekend, and they like poorly planned it, and like it was a disaster.
Yeah. Well, the actual Woodstock, didn't people die in it and stuff? Like it was pretty.
I heard that it was pretty chill. But
Well, I heard it was something about like porta potties were like they were overrun and people was like sleeping in it, and it was just a mess.
Yeah, so I think the actual one, I think there may have been only like one fatality. And I think it was like someone that, like something like, and I could be completely wrong, but I think it was like a tractor had, because it was just had backed up on someone. But I actually think somebody was born at Woodstock. So I think there was, one birth.
I'm surprised there's only one.
So they were 1 for 1, really.
Yeah,
they evened it out.
It's a fair trade.
So yeah, the first Woodstock in '69 was like chill, like really good. That's like the vibes or whatever. And then in '99, the '99 Woodstock was not good.
Stuff hit the fan. Yeah, what happened?
So that documentary, the one on Netflix, is what you're talking about?
I think so, yeah.
So it's like the same guy that actually like organized Woodstock '69.
Mm-hmm.
He was a little bit younger when '69 happened, but I think one of the biggest critiques is like it just did feel like a cash grab. They were just trying to make a lot of money. So they got like I don't know if it was an abandoned air hangar or it was just a giant air hangar that they got like out in the middle of nowhere. But and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they had like limited water supply, so they didn't really give water to people. Yeah. They gated it off, so like you had to pay to get in, but once you're in, you can't leave. And so there wasn't like the sleeping conditions because it was like a 2 or 3 day. Was it 3 day?
Yeah,
3 day concert series, but like there was really no proper food supply or water supply, so you had people just like seriously dehydrated. And like what you were kind of referencing, like how would certain bands do in the culture today? The culture and the climate had changed seriously since from the 60s to the 90s.
Oh yeah.
And so like they had bands like Korn play, and when that happened, there was just like so much rage. People started moshing. That wasn't a thing in the 60s.
Yeah, right.
In the hippie era, they weren't moshing.
No, that'd be terrifying.
And so these people started ripping down stage equipment, and then it just completely imploded on itself.
And Limp Bizkit, I remember this now. They wanted to do this like, I don't know. They were trying to, I guess, but it all ended up in flames.
Oh no!
Like in it.
Oh man,
like
bro.
It was terrible.
People started lighting fire to different areas of the venue, and it just
pushing over like the stage pieces.
What the heck, man?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a good documentary to watch.
I'll have to check it out. What's it called?
I don't.
I think it's just Woodstock '99.
Yeah, probably.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Huh? It's really good.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
Peace, Love, and Rage.
Nice.
That's the side title.
Who was that? Who headlined?
Bush was one of them because there were multiple days, and it just slowly went into chaos. I think when Bush went on, did they go after Korn, or did Korn go on after Bush?
After, it had to be after.
So let's see. The highlight people that it shows: Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Nice.
Metallica was there, I guess. DMX, Limp Bizkit, Korn, Bush. Yep, Kid Rock, and Creed. They were all there.
Bro, that lineup goes hard, actually.
Yeah. Kid Rock. I don't know if I said that. Kid Rock was there.
Yeah, that one cannot. That one's, Kid Rock's.
You meant like Nickelback. We're like, okay, we get it.
Yeah.
Literally, it's same vibes. The dad rock.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that stuff. People hate on stuff like that. I love Creed and stuff.
I feel like Nickelback is like the top tier, the one that people love to hate.
Yeah.
It's like fun to hate Nickelback.
But I like
They're not bad
love
at all.
Nickelback.
Yeah.
I grew up on Nickelback.
Yeah.
I mean, they're Grammy-winning artists. I mean, they have sold millions of their albums. You know, like, that is not a small feat to do. And so I just wear one of those Road Pros that like come off like a helmet that come back to me.
You should. Yeah.
Like, why does the footage on Caleb look so different?
It's like the one. It's like the one where it's like all panoramic. Your eyes are all weird looking.
That'll work.
What the heck is that?
I love the dudes who like take those to the gym. Have you seen those videos? Like dudes are
Yes.
like wearing those, and they're just like just insane looking.
Because you know how they're holding it, right? They're holding it in their mouth, yeah. So it looks so funny.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. They have the stick
yeah.
and they're holding it in their mouth like that. And yeah, that's how they're getting
it
that
looks
shot.
crazy. Their eyes are like all the way over.
Yeah.
They look like Sid the Sloth or something.
It's hilarious. I love those videos. And they're like they're like ASMR videos too at the same time, because like
Really?
yeah, well, they like heighten the sound and you hear them like doing everything.
Just breathing.
Yeah, you do. You hear them breathing because it's right in their mouth.
That would make me so uncomfortable if I was to like bring in a camera to the gym, like to bring that much attention on myself.
Yeah.
I would crumble.
I've thought about that because all these like TikTok gym influencers, like nobody knows that they're like a TikTok person, and so they're just bringing in like actual cameras too, and
like
tripods,
on
like
a full
this,
setup,
and bringing it and filming themselves. I'm like, I could never.
I couldn't do it either. Yeah. I hate I don't know, getting any attention in the gym. I just want to be like completely by myself. I can't imagine setting up a camera and like flexing in front of it and stuff. No way.
Not me.
Yeah, I mean, really, just anything short of like building a gym at the house.
Yeah.
Really.
I know.
Like if I could just not talk to anybody or just be in my own world, that would be. Sounds very antisocial.
No, I get it. No, I feel the same way.
I
feel it's terrible too because I never work out with my glasses on, and so I'll go in there and I just catch myself just disassociating, just staring at someone, and I don't like they're just a blur because I don't have my glasses on, and I'm just like, people are like probably think I'm crazy.
Oh yeah, people will wave at me at the gym and stuff, and I don't wear my glasses, so I don't know who's like waving at me or trying to talk to me because I have my headphones in too. Until they come like right up to me.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, oh hey, sorry, I didn't see you or hear you.
I have a really bad. I do the same thing. I don't wear my contacts when I go, but I think. Like, I don't realize it until, like, I reflect on it. It's like, I probably look like I'm staring at people because when there's situations where I think I know someone, they're blurry. And so I feel like I'm just, like, beaming them with my eyes, trying to figure out who they are. And then I think about it from the other person's perspective. They're probably thinking I'm a psycho just sitting there, like, staring at them. Or something. So now I'm contemplating, am I making the right choice by not wearing them? So that's the way my brain works.
Yeah, it's the same thing with me too. And I have a really bad like resting face, so like I just walk around just like grinning, like really, people
scowling at
literally.
people.
Do you look like you're angry, or you just look like you're like in thought?
No, I look angry. Yeah, it's actually something I've had to like check myself with because I had someone I remember in high school. I never talked to them. They were like, I was so scared to talk to you because you look so mad all the time. And it was like, oh gosh, I don't want to give off that vibe. I just walk around looking ticked off all the time. I had to fix it.
Yeah, well,
I hope I fix it.
You're like, I hope I fixed it.
Like, I don't know.
I fixed it right.
Yeah, it's a problem. Dude, I'm dragging.
Yeah.
I wake up early. We're filming this early for those who don't know, but that's why I have like 5 drinks.
Yeah. I had this is like my 3rd sip of coffee this morning. So isn't it kind of crazy how when you take I feel it, when you take your first drink of coffee, your eyes like immediately, I just feel like I immediately wake up a little bit. Like, not actually, but it does something to my eyes, especially. My
animals just annoy me in the mornings, and they, like, put me into a state of, like, rage, and so then I'm awake. Like, my cat, she just, like, meows all the time. I think because she hears my dogs barking, so she thinks, like, it's cool to make noise.
Yeah.
And so she'll, like, I'll be awake, and she'll just be meowing at me, like, all morning, and I'm like, what do you want from me?
Yeah, it's not
And so I'll go, like, lock her in another room, so she leaves me alone.
Yeah, it's... My cat literally every morning he'll bite my industrial bar. So like I wake up to literally hearing my cat chewing on metal in my ear, and it makes me so mad. Or he'll bite my nose.
Oh my gosh,
bro! And I've thrown him a couple times.
That's how you wake up most mornings?
Yeah, literally.
He's just torturing you.
Yeah, because I try to shut my door to keep him out because I know that it's gonna happen. So, but he'll just scratch at my door all night, and it's like, gosh, whatever, dude. It's brutal. I hate him, dude.
You're gonna wake up
You
one
hate
morning.
your cat.
I
love my cat. It's just meows a lot, which is annoying. And in the morning, I want silence.
Yeah.
We had a cat growing up. He would run to my room and like for weeks. I would
Just
wake
sprint.
up, sprint to my room. He would put his paws, like while I'm sleeping, he'd put his paws on the back, like a part of my head, and just start licking my hair.
Oh no, dude, that's happened.
Like like he's just bathing me in the morning,
Aw,
you know.
that's kinda
And so
sweet.
I'd wake up to that. I'm like, it feels kind of good.
Do you let that keep happening?
I mean, I would be lying if I said no.
Your head's just soaked in the morning.
For everyone else's purposes, yeah, he's quitted immediately.
Yeah.
I quitted
Kev.
immediately, Nathan. Gross. It felt terrible.
You got a bed with butter on your head to make him do it.
I'm like putting pieces of peanut butter in my hair or something.
Be looking
Do
for that
cats
for a
like
while.
peanut butter?
I don't know if they do
I
or
know
not.
dogs do.
Probably.
Oh man,
That would be bad.
My dog Charlie. I'm like his eyes. It looks like I don't know if peanut butter has any like properties for animals to where it makes them like catnip would
Yeah,
for
like
cats.
crazy.
Oh my gosh,
He freaks out.
his eyes like it's like oh yeah. It's,
For real?
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah, dude.
Do you got? Well, you have dogs. You have dogs, Josie. Do you
Yep.
give them peanut butter ever?
Yeah, I usually have to do like their if I ever have to give them pills, I have to like coat it in peanut butter. Pip will eat anything, so I can just give her the pill and she'll eat it. But Lola, I have to coat it in so much peanut butter that she doesn't realize that it's in there. That she thinks it's just like a chunk of peanut butter or something.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
love peanut butter.
I always thought it was a classic move as a kid to put peanut butter on your dog's nose, right? Just watch them freak out on it all day.
Try to get to it.
Yeah.
See, my dogs can lick their nose though.
Yeah.
They have really long tongues.
I think most dogs can.
Yeah.
You're like, guys, I was talking about myself.
Yeah. I
You just see
can't
me
lick
walking
my
around all
Caught me.
day. That would be insane. Can you touch your nose with your tongue? I remember
I'm not going to
kids.
try it right now on camera.
Do it.
I don't know. I
it.
haven't done it in a while, Nathan. I'm out of practice.
Just
Show me how to do it.
Can you do it, Josie?
No.
No, I can't
Well,
either. I remember there's friends
can't
of mine
make
in
very
school
far.
who could do it. These cool kids could do it.
I'm going to try it like by myself later. Staring
front of the
myself in the mirror. Like just a Buffalo Bill moment there. Like not blinking, staring at myself in the mirror. You can do this.
Hyping yourself up hard.
Yeah, listen to David Bowie in the background while I'm
Ooh,
doing it.
yeah. David Bowie. Dude, I love your shoes, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Just saw them.
Yeah.
It's a good move.
No, thanks. My
Sandals.
Jamie, my wife, she's a big Chacos fan.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a flip flop person for a very long time. All the flip flops in the world, but she's trying to get me like going towards Chacos, more conventional like sandal footwear, or whatever.
Yeah.
I just want to know, like, where did the wooden clogs come from? Like, that's a Norwegian thing,
I
right?
think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wouldn't that break your toes?
It would not be comfortable.
hurt.
There's
Yeah.
no way it'd be comfortable.
Like, morph all your toes into one, like those Chinese
Yeah.
ballerinas.
That's what I was about to say. Isn't that crazy they used to do that?
That's
Brutal.
insane.
Yeah, crazy's not the right
Yeah,
word.
that is absolutely
inhumane.
You're all of the above, man. Yeah, it is. Do you know what we're talking about, Josie?
The wooden clogs?
No, the Chinese ballerinas, like what they would do to their feet, they'd bind their feet into basically looking like a heel.
No.
They would, yeah,
Look at-
from their youth, they would like
Check it out.
they would like basically fold their feet like backwards, pretty much. So
Yeah,
it was
so
like they would
it
have
looked
tiny
like
feet.
a bended up foot, so it'd fit in like a.
Ugh. Yeah, not good.
Yeah.
Oh no.
We're on to something now.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, we're rolling now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I also heard it wasn't just for ballerinas. It was also because like in that culture, having small feet was like kind of the thing. So women would just do that just casually because they wanted to have small feet, which is insane.
You know, that concept of like what is I guess you'd consider like attractive or delicacy or whatever in certain cultures. That's like a fascinating.
I don't like that word delicacy. We were talking about feet.
Talking about curling up feet.
Yum.
Yeah, that sounds like you're about to
Some people like
eat
feet.
something. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, that is
Stranded on a
weird.
desert island.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is weird though. It's super weird. I think another crazy thing. I remember. I think they're called castrados. So there's guys who would like young men who could sing really, really well. Like before,
yeah.
like before they would reach like puberty or anything like that, they would like castrate them so that they could keep that sound. And so you would have like obviously grown men who sound like little boys, like singing, like it's crazy.
I think there's like some old recording of like some of the last.
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
because they don't do that practice anymore. I mean, not on the books anymore, but like there's some like old recordings of like men that were older that still.
I actually heard.
Sing,
I heard that Michael Jackson had that done. Actually, I don't know if that's true, but
wow.
I don't want to air him out on our Happy Trees podcast.
Too late after that. It's a pretty big accusation.
That's crazy that they would do that.
Yeah, it sounds really wild too. Like full grown men just with like really high pitched voices and stuff. It's crazy the lengths people would go to. You'd have to be dedicated to.
Well, I have to imagine that people weren't super willing to have that done to them. I feel like that was probably a decision that was out of their hands. You know what I mean? No pun intended. But
I don't know. Some like if you start singing as a kid, like I don't know. You guys know who Mason Ramsey is? The yodeling boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He was scared that when he stopped making music for a while because he was scared that because he hit puberty, he wouldn't be able to sing anymore and that no one would want to listen to him anymore.
I heard
his new music is fire.
Good. I heard one of them. It's like Blue Over You or something like that. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, and he has a song in the Twisters movie.
Oh really? Dude,
yeah,
that
that's
soundtrack
really
is
fun.
Banging.
It is an awesome soundtrack.
I've never seen that. I've never seen the original movie either.
What?
You haven't seen the original Twister?
No.
That's crazy. It's classic.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it.
It's an Indiana native that is the main star of the.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot. Okay.
I'm going blank on his name.
I know, me too. I'm looking it up.
I almost said Billy Mays.
No, not Twisters. Twister. The OG.
The male
Bill
lead.
Paxton.
Bill Paxton. He's from Indiana. Yeah.
Is that movie based off like in Indiana?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Kansas, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Yeah. That's where.
But you've never seen the original though?
Nope.
And you haven't seen the new one either? Mm-mm. Oh, that's great. I haven't either. I haven't seen the new one. I felt like it was a weird. Like I feel like that movie's a weird one to give a sequel to. Am I the only one that feels that?
It's not really a sequel. They make a few like references to like the first movie, but it's a very like standalone movie. The characters have no relation to the ones in Twister. Like the plot honestly has no correlation to the first one. It's just like another movie about tornadoes. Just more in the future.
It's just people just sitting in a basement, just a family just playing Monopoly or something the whole time.
It has nothing to do with like weathers or severe storms at all.
It's actually just a survival.
It's them playing Twister, the game.
Just 2 hours.
2 hours, 23 minutes.
Left hand green. I haven't played that game in a long time, dude. I feel like you get to a certain point where that
It's too
game's
hard.
off. You can't do it anymore. It just hurts.
As I've gotten older, I've realized like that game is not one that you just bust out when friends are coming over.
Dude, you would look like a nut.
But I was like, oh, this is my wife Jamie. Nice to meet you. So we got Twister. You guys
Let's go.
I thought maybe we could for an icebreaker get to know each other. Let's play.
He was all stretched out.
Left hand, right? Yeah, that would be. That's like not the one that I feel like ages well.
No, it doesn't. No, yeah, literally. Once you get past 16, that game's over.
I feel like that's even getting pretty high.
I honestly couldn't tell you the last time I played it.
I can't either.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. I remember getting lit every time it came out, though. I get so excited.
I feel like Operation aged fairly well. Like that's a safe one to Connect 4. You're not, Battleship, you're making enough distance for you and God to be able to be there in the room with you. I feel like those are safe bets.
Yeah, nothing bad happens over Battleship. It's just good, clean fun.
Good, clean fun. Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, that game, I would rage with that game, dude.
Which one, Battleship?
Yeah, dude. I just get sunk and I'm just like C3 and it's like miss. It's like, gosh, dude, I'm about to chuck this thing, bro.
Yeah. Is there anyone that could claim that they have strategy to Battleship?
There's no strategy.
Yeah, what, cheating? Like looking at
looking over the board. I don't know.
Putting a mirror behind the person.
Yeah, moving the bow every time they hit somewhere.
Nope, missed.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
What, unlocked a memory?
No, it's just like, just thinking of all the people that I played with, like, if they were doing that. I was just like, I was trying to compete against them. if they were moving the boat, I'm ready to go to war right now.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
We're
to
gonna
fight.
actually play Battleship.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna take you down.
Oh my gosh, because you absolutely
You could.
do that,
Yeah,
Josie.
you totally could. You'd
Yeah.
have no
Oh
You can
my
cheat
gosh.
at like every board game, and that just
All right,
like
Tom
makes
Brady,
me so
hold on.
mad. Well, no, like my
Speaking
family,
from
we can't really
experience,
play
dude.
board games together because we get too mad. Like I get mad, and my youngest brother gets
Yeah.
really mad. He used to cry over board games, especially Monopoly,
No
because
way.
he'd go bankrupt. And he would just start crying.
Just conditioning him for adulthood, like in a poor way.
Or like Sorry, he hates it when we play Sorry because like if we like knock him out or whatever, we'll just go Sorry, and he's like, stop doing it. He'll just like start screaming.
He
He's
hears
like
that in his sleep.
he's like throwing the like board before.
No way.
Yeah, he rages. He gets mad.
It's like,
He
yeah,
gets really mad.
He doesn't come around too much anymore, but
That's why he's good at his like YouTube gaming, whatever, because he has good reactions. Because he's just filled with rage when playing games.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
that's what you instilled in him as a
Yeah.
child.
Yep.
He wakes up, just hears like sorry, just freaks. Yeah, it's in a tizzy.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yep.
I've actually never played Monopoly.
It is.
It's a long game.
I've
It is
heard.
a long, lengthy game.
Yeah, I've never played it. Never.
Well, Jake will say don't play it with me because
Yeah.
I get too angry.
I actually think he's told me that you're like pretty good at it at one point. I think we've talked about it. Just yeah, interesting. Yeah.
Well, now we're gonna have to play Monopoly. That'll just be one whole
One
podcast.
episode. Honestly, it would take like 2 hours
I
or
just
more.
flip out. I just spaz. I do what your brother does and just,
Yeah, just-
focus a board.
Yeah, like the memories of Battleship come back to you. I'm done.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I used to spaz on video games, dude. Like, I don't anymore, but I don't play video games now. But
Oh, so do you guys ever play Call of Duty?
I have. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I played
So
some.
there's like a function on that where it's like Call of Duty Zombies.
Oh yeah.
So like some of the OG ones, like the earlier days of that, there were a couple that
Black Ops.
Oh yeah, he was like start hyperventilating, like the best one, you know.
Yeah.
So playing that with some friends, we'd play like Xbox Live, and we'd
Yeah.
have like our own party. So it's just like 3 or 4 of us playing zombies. I would just like. Something like got a hold of me, and it's just like you just
demon.
start yelling.
It's a demon.
Yeah, it was trying to get me. But yeah, that's a problem. It's like looking
Bro.
back, it's like who was I
Yeah.
for a moment? It's like
Yeah.
holy cow.
Dude, I'll hear my nephew playing with like other kids and stuff like that, and they're just vulgar to each other. It's like, dude, turn this off. I can't listen to these kids talking like this, bro.
Verbal warfare, man.
Dude, literally, and it's so mean too. It's terrible.
Yeah, people are worried about like Facebook and Twitter. It's like, is it?
Bro.
Listen to Xbox Live.
Get
Just
on-
like get a
Yeah.
headset and
Get
listen to what's
online,
going on there.
bro. These kids are just crushing each other.
Like 10-year-old, 11-year-old
Yeah.
kids
Yeah.
just saying the
yeah,
worst
it's
stuff.
brutal. It's brutal.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
bad.
I don't make
It's
it
real
great.
bad.
I'm sure your brother's like just like he went from Monopoly to probably like Xbox or PlayStation.
Yeah,
he's
he's
like it
taking
doesn't
out-
get better. And then, so
He probably went the other way. He's taking out that anger on other kids.
yeah,
He
like
just-
your
Yeah,
brother,
he's
your
doing
brother
it to
probably
other
has
kids.
his whole villain arc basically, just like all these horrible things. He's downtrodden. you
Yep.
know.
yeah, full blown Joker vibes.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, I had a interesting fascination biblical story I was wanting to get you guys' take on.
Sweet.
Okay, let's go.
So I was reading, I've been reading Matthew the last couple of days, and the other day I was in Matthew like 17, 18, and there's a moment, a part of a story where Jesus and some of the disciples go to a mountaintop and they encounter Moses and Elijah.
Yeah.
So I've read this before, but like something that hit me differently this time reading that was the way Matthew wrote it is that it just states that that Moses is there and Elijah's there. But something I started thinking about is how would they, like two trains of thought, how would they know? The first question is how would they know that it's Moses and Elijah? Now, obviously Jesus would know, theoretically he would know, and he could introduce everyone, but it doesn't say that Jesus announced these people to be Moses and Elijah. It doesn't say Jesus explained that to the disciples. And so I did a little bit of digging on this, not much, but just a little bit, because I wanted to get your guys' take on this. And to do that, I was curious, would there be eyewitness accounts that would, like eyewitnesses that knew other eyewitnesses that could like maybe removed by 2-3 generations or something that could have been alive from the days of Moses or Elijah, or at least from the days of Moses, from the exiles that could have maybe given eyewitness accounts of what he looked like or something. It's a distance of about 42 generations from the days of Moses to the days of Jesus. So none of the eyewitnesses would have theoretically been alive to explain descriptors of what Moses actually looks like or Elijah actually looks like. And so that's where my confusion was. Now, this is I'm probably making a mountain out of a molehill, because Jesus could have simply said in that moment to his disciples, this is Moses, this is Elijah. And later on that passage, it goes to explain that they basically are surrounded by a white cloud, and then Moses and Elijah disappear. So it's like kind of this, I don't know, like nuanced story where it's like where it maybe you got to be careful using your imagination, I guess, in trying to explain to yourself what happened. But I want to almost naturally assume that he explained to the disciples who they were, but that's not the way it's written. And so I was just curious what you guys think. Do you think they knew, or do you think it was explained, or maybe just thoughts on that story? What do you guys think?
I definitely think there had to have been some kind of like revelation of like, I don't know whether like they said something themselves or Jesus said something. I don't know. Because to me that like passage of scripture is so short for how much happens. Because you have that happen, and then Peter's like, let's build these like shelters and altars or whatever for you. And Jesus is like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to like go back to the village. And it's just like so much just happened in like a few verses. I'm like, there definitely is like stuff in between the lines.
That is kind of an interesting point, because Peter is the one that is speaking. Like in, I think it's 17:4.
Yep.
Peter's the one that actually calls Moses and Elijah by their names. How did unless there was an introduction before, but that's never given. Like that's the whole. This is Peter. This is this is Moses. That's never taking place. Peter's just calling them by name. By 17:4, which I think is where you're talking about, because you hear that, you don't even hear that language from Matthew. You hear it from Peter, and so that's interesting to me. Yeah. What do you have any thoughts on that?
I don't know. I love that. I love that text a lot. I think about that one quite a bit, but I've never thought about like how they know the names of the people and everything. It's really interesting to think about. But it also makes me think about how when Christ returns, even people who don't know him or have followed him will like confess that he's the Lord. So it's like people will know that Jesus is Jesus even if they don't know who he is. So maybe it's just something about like the way that they...
I think there's just like some kind of like divine revelation that happens there. Like God just somehow makes it so you know.
My dad has a theory on this. I was really like I don't know, challenged by this. I've just really been intrigued by this concept of how, like, could they possibly know each other without knowing each other? And so I was talking to my dad a little bit about this, and we kind of came to this idea. He had some theories on just concepts or like what the reality of heaven is like. And he believes that when we are in heaven, that there won't necessarily be a formal introduction to all the people that we're related to. We will just naturally know, because your bloodline will go back for generations beyond what you know. We most likely we do not know our great-great-grandfathers, great-great-grandmothers. And it goes on beyond that. Great, for generations on. And so his theory is that we would naturally, whatever you would want to call it, divine revelation, that there would be a natural, like this instinctive reaction that we would know who is who when we're surrounded by our loved ones, and that it's almost a heavenly experience. And so I use that concept when thinking of this passage and just my own kind of, theory, ideas of maybe what could have happened, and what it seemed like in the passage of how Moses and Elijah exit with being surrounded by a heavenly white cloud and then they're gone. I almost wonder, like, could it be possible that in that moment on that mountainside, on that mountaintop, were they able to experience part of that, what you'd want to call it, a divine revelation, a heavenly experience, where maybe in that moment they didn't need an introduction. They were able to it was explained through the Spirit this is Moses. I know this.
Yeah.
I don't know them, but I know this. Yeah. Just like I wouldn't know my great-great-great-grandfather, my great-great-great-grandmother, but I know it's them. I've never seen their face. I've never heard their voice, but I know them. And so I don't know. That could be a little bit too kooky.
I mean, I think it's interesting too, because like there's passages after Jesus is resurrected, when he comes back and he like visits the disciples. It says like how there's that story where people are walking with him and they don't even know it's him until he like prays for the meal that they're about to eat, and then it's like their eyes are opened, and it's just like, there's just something about that spiritual realm that's just, I don't know. It's just like kind of like to not know who he is. Like you spent, years with him, but you don't know who he is until something happens. It just clicks, and it's like, oh, like how did I not see that this was Christ? But I don't know. I love that story so much, because I love Peter's response to it, like how he says, like, Lord, it is good for us to be here.
Yeah.
Like, let's set up some, like, I'll build a shelter for all three of you. And, with Jesus, he was like, we're going to stay with Jesus, so let's just stay in this place right now. So it's like Peter got to experience, like, a little, like, sliver of heaven in that moment, and, like, recognize that it was good to want to, like, stay in that space. And then Jesus' response, like you said, is like, nope, we're gonna keep going. It's like those little experiences that we have in life. I feel like right now I had spiritual, like kind of what's what I'm looking for, mentor for me when I was in school. I was talking to him about this passage, and he said like how in life you'll experience things sometimes where you're just kind of reminded of like heaven, and it gives you such confidence in like what's to come and everything. He referred to it as like when you walk past a beautiful house and you can look in a window for a quick second. It's just like thinking about, man, one day to be able to fully walk into that, like just to experience that like Peter did, and then to be told like, let's keep going. Like it would give you, you'd be bummed because it's like, I wish I could stay here forever, but it's also like, that's the goal. Like that's what we're striving for, is to be in that place forever. And yeah, it's a beautiful teaching. But
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I often imagine, like I've heard the question raised before. It's like, what kind of person are you in regards to reacting in front of Jesus? Like when you see Jesus for the first time, how do you think that you would react? Would you be the hugger? Would you be the slow walker? Would you run to Jesus? And I know that that's like such a hypothetical question, like what if question. It's like, oh, how are you planning on meeting Jesus? But like one day being in paradise, in seeing Jesus, it's like, do you ever think about that concept? I know that's so grandiose, but what do you guys think?
I will probably just be like frozen in place. Yeah. Like I feel like I will just be so like just. Because when I think about even like moments now where I'm just like shocked or like surprised or something, like I have no reaction. I'm just like standing there. So I have a feeling it's going to just be an extreme version of that, just standing there for a really long time.
Frozen. An eternity.
I'm not moving, you're moving.
Yeah, because I mean, I can't even imagine like that.
It's such a cool concept to think about. I think two things. Back to the transfiguration conversation really quick. I love how when like Peter's almost like scared of that, like what he sees, right? Like it says like how they kind of like fell when the clouds started to come, and it was like everything was like, kind of, there was something happening. And then it was like Jesus, it was just Jesus present with him, and he like lifted him up, and then he heard the voice from heaven saying like, listen to my son. But it's like how there was that huge, powerful, crazy, like impossible to understand moment that happened, and it was like finalized just by Jesus like giving him comfort and being like, it's all right. Like I don't know, the power that's behind that, and Jesus is just so, I don't know, humble and beautiful, and just to once all that stuff settles, it's like just Jesus and the disciples and stuff. But I remember, I think it's such a cool concept to think about how that joy that you're talking about, like thinking about what it will be like to see Jesus. Because it's like, if you're not a Christian or you don't have a relationship with Jesus, that concept sounds so funny. Like to think about what will it be like to see someone that you've never actually like talked to, or like, but when you become a Christian and you're filled with the Holy Spirit, it's like Jesus so deeply that it's like you get excited to think about seeing this person that lived 2,000 years ago. And that concept is so. I remember hearing people talking like this before I started following Jesus, and just was like, the conversation sounds so crazy. But then to like actually experience it, to like truly be excited to see Christ is such a cool thing to like, yeah, I don't know. It's wild to think about.
What do you think that would be like for you? Josie's just gonna have an intense stare down with Jesus. Blink off.
Man, I don't know, dude. I think I would have a lot of, I don't know. I'd have a lot of wanting to talk to him, probably just to asking questions. And yeah, I don't know, man. It kind of gets me emotional just thinking about it a little bit. Just thinking about being able to actually see him, because I think I had this experience when someone that I like really like loved like died, and then I thought about him being in heaven and thinking about him being able to see Jesus. And there's something about that, like thinking about a person that I've physically have known is like physically present with Christ, and it's like, dude, I'll be able to do that one day. Like to physically be present with Jesus is like, dude, it's so crazy. It's wild to think about.
I have these dreams, ever since my mom passed. Every now and again, I'll have these dreams about like what my imagination of like the fields of heaven look like. Just like these like wheat fields. It's like have you guys ever seen like the movie Gladiator or whatever, when he's like in Spain, you're like walking. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
These giant wheat fields, which are like waist high almost, and they're just beautiful seas of wheat fields, because they just grow and very the grain. It's just beautiful, and so like it sounds a little silly, but like I'll think about that from time to time, like just like in a valley of just giant, like sunrise or a sunset. And the sun's just like laying on that, and I just imagine like Jesus standing there, kind of far off, with my mom or like my loved ones that have passed, and like, in my dreams, it's like, which obviously they're just my dreams, but like I just imagine like there is no, it's like earthly excitement. It's like we cry when we're excited, we cry when we're sad. We express outwardly like our joy, our happiness, and our emotions, but there's none of that. It's like what I see sometimes in my dreams, especially from my loved ones, not from Jesus, but it's like for my mom, it's like I imagine that she won't be that, but it's like the face, the eyes of my loved ones will be like almost like a proud, like welcome. It's like just like almost like not like an outwardly like expression of, oh my gosh, I'm so glad, but it's just like you've made it. There's a place here prepared for you, and
it's beautiful, dude.
Chills.
Yeah, for real. I think one of the coolest things to think about is about how when Jesus, but the story with him and Thomas, obviously the doubter, was like how he took Thomas's hands and like had him feel his like the wounds and everything on his hands and his stomach and stuff. Jesus, like that was after the resurrection, so it's like Christ still has those, like, and so to think about like we'll probably experience that same thing, like to go to Christ and for him to say like, I did this for you, and to like physically see that, like, dude, that's crazy. You know what I mean? That's wild. But yeah, dude, I'm all I'm all teared up a little bit, dude.
We're all gonna start crying.
It's too early in the morning for that.
But I do like to think about things like that from time to time. I feel like living a life for Christ. It's like there's nothing wrong with being emotional sometimes, and thinking about that end goal of that's why we're living this life. That's our hope. That's our eternity, and so. But I think about that, and I love talking about that. I think we feel like it's weird to talk about that sometimes. Oh, we can't. We might cry. We might get emotional. But no, I mean that's why I feel like fellowship is so important, anyways, to be able to communicate this. Josie might be thinking, I'm going to have a stare off with Jesus. Nathan might be thinking something different. Caleb might be thinking something different. But I love to hear that. So
yeah, I feel like that's like one cool thing about like Christian friendships, like people who are like-minded, is that you can have like those conversations and it like doesn't feel weird to like be vulnerable in that way. Like I feel like even just like our staff alone, I feel like most staff like wherever you're at, you probably don't often cry together a lot. I feel like that happens a lot with our staff. Like we just like experience life together, and we just like truly like are just like more than just like coworkers at Walmart. And so I think that's just like so special about it. And I don't know, I think being a Christian, it's like so, it makes you like, you just want your like non-Christian friends to like know Christ so bad, because you're like, I want them to feel like what I'm feeling, and I want them to understand like the things that I'm trying to share with them. Because like I have a friend who I've made in Muncie, and she's not a Christian, and like I don't know, just like for her to just see like there's so much more than just this life, because like she's been like disappointed and like so many of these things that have happened in her life, like she's not happy with, and it's like, but there's like more than like what we have right now. Like we have so much to look forward to, and like I wish like she could like see it the way I do. And it's hard to have conversations like that with her, because it's like she's kind of like, okay, Josie, get off your rocker a little bit. Let's go talk about something normal.
Well, and that's the thing. Scripture, like it obviously talks about how like these types of conversations sound like nonsense to the unbelievers, and it's like. Yeah, and that's what I mean, kind of referring to what we were talking about earlier. I felt that way. Like, I remember hearing, like, Christians have conversations like this, and I was like, dude, this is, like, what are you talking about? Like, it just doesn't hit at all. But there's just, when you start following Jesus and you receive the Holy Spirit, it's almost like it's like speaking a different language with people who can only speak that language. And it's just, so when you are in a community where you can talk about that stuff, it just does something good for your soul.
Yeah.
T.D. Jakes says, in his opinion, what Christianity is, it's one beggar telling the other beggar where the bread is. You know,
that's good.
Yeah,
one beggar telling the other beggar where the bread is. And I think being able to speak that language together, to be able to experience that life, that kind of life together, is so essential. It's so essential, and especially when we're talking about things like the matters of heaven or what we imagine. You know, I listened to this this like commencement speech that like Denzel Washington, oddly enough, which is a devout Christian, like he gave this commencement address to some college, and the whole message was about putting God first. And I want to steal a quote that he said from that. He goes, you have to, regardless of what you do, always put God first. He will protect you, he will correct you, and he will redirect you whenever you get lost, whenever you get sidetracked. And I know that might not sound that profound, but I think that like that could mean nothing to someone if you're surrounding yourself, like you mentioned environment. If you're in an environment that is spiritually empty, that could mean nothing. Having these conversations are not going to be as life-giving as they are when you're experiencing fellowship with environments, with wise counsel. And I think the prayer for, like, God, just show me what to do, redirection, course correction, I think that when you start surrounding yourself with environments that are able to have where you're able to have fellowship, I feel like God, and this might sound a little kooky, but I feel like God can start speaking through conversation. Maybe Nathan said something that I was supposed to hear. Maybe Josie said something I was supposed to hear. The Spirit moved through that. And you didn't even know, by the way. Those words that you said, you had no idea. And maybe I never even acknowledged to you that it meant something to me. But I feel like when the Spirit is present through the hearts of the believers, I feel like church can happen there. I feel like transformation can happen. I'm getting fired up. I feel like I feel like fellowship can happen.
Stop preaching. Let's go, Caleb.
But seriously, I feel like that's when fellowship really starts to happen, and I'm so passionate about that concept too, guys.
Josie's Corner.
Okay. It's a YouTube short. We've already got it kind of started. This is interesting.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
That's
I don't know what this is.
Oh my gosh.
Look at those eyes. Look at them.
Jeez, bro. Dude, this kid is flexing, bro.
I'm sure in that kid's circles, he's like Tom Cruise of that.
Man, he takes his...
Dude, was that girl making that same face?
I think so.
What is the deal
I think
here?
they're like related.
Man, he's just straight mugging.
What is this, bro?
This is pig showing.
This ghost riding the whip hard, dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
Oh, that's how my phone felt about it.
bro, I love that video.
What is he doing? Is that something kids do in like
Yeah.
4-H?
Like just pig showing, and so
Okay.
I was curious why they all look like serial killers.
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
with their eyes. So part of the rules of that, and I've never shown pigs. This is just what I looked up after I watched that video like 10 times.
At 1 a.m.
At 1
Yeah.
a.m. I apparently there's something with the rules that they can't look down, and they can't like look where the pig's going to go. They just have to anticipate the pig's movement with their peripheral vision, and their eyes. There's typically in those videos you'll see someone maybe without a pig. That's a judge.
Okay.
They have to basically stare at the judge and make eye contact the entire time, and if they look down, it's a deduction of points. So
That's
He's just
crazy.
mean mugging.
Yeah,
so they
for
have
real.
to, yeah, because there used to be a rule that you didn't have to make eye contact with the judges. You just had to keep your chin and your face up. But then there started being disputes over. I got really.
Well, you
I
can
got
still
really-
look, yeah.
Then there started being disputes that people were looking down because their eyes were looking down.
Yeah, you
but
can-
your head could be up, but your eyes are looking down. But then people started arguing. No, their head's down. No, my head's up. So they changed the rule to where you have to make eye contact with the judge, and it is incredibly entertaining because they look like serial killers that are just like guiding these pigs doing an absurd like a thing while they're looking like they're about to go to war. It's wild.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that's
love
interesting.
how much work you put into to share
Man,
that.
you really did like your research.
Yeah,
You like looked at the
know.
history.
Yeah, what was the first Google search
Read the
after you
rule
watched
book.
it?
I was like,
Why kids look up when directing pigs?
Yeah, I stayed away from the kid part, but I was like at 1:30 in the morning. But I was just curious, like, what are the rules of like showing pigs? Because I was like, this is wild.
Yeah.
What is going on?
That is
here?
very interesting.
Yeah, and then there's so many videos on that, like on YouTube too. So it's apparently a big deal for those circles, but I've never. I'm just not familiar with that or like what they do with 4-H or whatever. But
Yeah,
it's
I'm not familiar with like any of the animal stuff. Like I know people like show cows and bunnies and whatever. I have never done any of that. So
No.
I'm just like, what do you even do? You're just like, this is my pig. I raised him. He's cute. It's like, what do you do? Or like cows, like, he's going to be delicious to eat. Like, give me a first place.
I am the same way though. I had just like an ignorance to it. I
Yeah.
thought it was like the very like my imagination of what like showing a pig was like the cartoony like, oh, this is how fat I got my pig, and that was the competition. Like you have to see how big your pig is compared to other people's pigs, and they probably don't even do that. That's probably but that's what I thought showing pigs was. But that was, I don't know. That blew my mind. That
is crazy.
Kept me busy.
Yeah. I love that.
I can, yeah.
I
Do some
love
more
it.
research on that.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Julep,